I hope you are well. Self love and success are still the same. That was a message that I received and posted last year on this date. But this year, you'll probably understand it and you might be ready to become really successful because that is just a matter of you owning yourself, understanding who you are, why you're in the world, what you came to offer. Because you came to bring something to the world, especially as we're moving through this huge transition. And sometimes we don't understand what is happening in our lives or in the world. But I can tell you, nothing's happening accidentally in your life or in our world. We just have to figure it out. That's what we all do whenever we are alive. And it turns out that my life was meant to bring in a new philosophy that could help the world transcend. Accepting that was not something that I was going to do or talk about or even tell anyone because it didn't make sense. It could feel that way to you. Or you could be looking at the world and think that doesn't make sense either. But I assure you that you are here to do something really wonderful, and once you find it and live it, you'll have this great life and you'll become successful. That's why you were born. So what I did was today was a really movement, a day, energetic day on the 20th. And I said, why is that happening? And so I got up and I put together some things, and Wilhelm told me to do and put together some messages for you to have so that you can start to understand who you are and accept yourself a bit more, because your energy and the love of who you are is what is needed in your life and also in our world now. That's why you were born. It takes us a while to figure that out because of the conditioning and programming we've all had, everyone, individually and also collectively, meaning our entire society. So that's why it's changing. But it's also why it's been chaotic, why it may feel on this day that there's so many energies going on you don't understand, which is why that is when you go within. That is when you figure out who you are and start to own yourself a bit more, which is the purpose of your life. And it may have taken you a while to get to that, to understand it, as it did me, but now you can, because I know that. I've lived my entire life bringing in this information, and I'm going to show you a little bit of it. Because what happened was, I've recently discovered all these messages I've been receiving have been energetically connected to what's the changes that are happening in our world. I couldn't have known that, because you have to understand everything is consciousness. How much you can accept about yourself, how much you can believe, and then how much you can live. And again, that's going to be individually and collectively. But when we move through big energetic shifts in our world, in our society, we become afraid. We don't want to move. We don't want to change because we don't like the unknown. And then we want to hold on to what was before, where we knew we were okay. It doesn't work, though. It doesn't work for us, and it doesn't work for our world. But we keep moving through those cycles because there are cycles. And I just happened to tune into this one because it was my life path. And I will tell you, it was not something that I wanted to do at all. You may have felt that way about certain things, but I knew I had to. Sometimes you will find something within you that you know you have to do this, and nothing else matters. Doesn't matter for me, it wasn't even about the money. It was about, what is my purpose? And obviously, my purpose was to bring something to this world that could cause all of us to live a really great life and see a world that is quite different. And I know that it's true because so much of it has been demonstrated already and experienced through me. But in this presentation, I'm going to give you that, and I'll leave it with you so you can have it. I'll leave all the messages, because what Wilhelm made me do was to put all the messages from January 20th since 2008. Because see, there's cycles of energy too, to planets and all that we don't necessarily understand. Some of it's connected to the astrology you might know. But I put a little document together that you'll have with this, that you can see it if that's of interest to you, because the energetic connections of these messages were kind of surprising to me, and I'm still figuring it out. Because that's just recently I found that these messages, when I'm doing a channeling session, for instance, on a moon change or full or new moon or something, it's all because of the energy. But I didn't know that was happening. I didn't even know why I was compiling all of this work. I didn't know it was going to become a philosophy. That was never my intent. I was just living my life. But now you will have something that can take you to wherever you want to go in your life. And then the world has the same thing. If you've listened to a Wilhelm channeling session, you will hear they say, we have given you everything you need to live this really wonderful life and create a magnificent world that you want to see. And then we'll think about that and you say, no, that's not possible. Because I don't really like all those other people over there. I haven't really liked myself very much. I'm not even sure why I'm here. Whatever that might have been, you stand at a place right now where you can change it all, because those are the energies of where we're going. You've heard about that time of the age of Aquarius? Well, you're there. And it means that you're supposed to come together and own yourself so that you can help everyone else do that as well. But enjoy this presentation. I'm going to just give you the presentation. You'll go through it and you'll just listen to it and just do what you, and the messages. I'll give you all of the messages, because when you work through those, just read them, and I'll put some questions there or something just to get you to think a little bit more, because all it is getting you to understand you. That's all. That everything that I have received from Wilhelm has been about that. A lot of times they use me as the example, but it's the same for you. But you'll really appreciate this, and then in the channeling session as well. And then please, check out my work and all of that. But you are moving into a really wonderful time in your world, in your life. That's what's happening. You are creating your world. That was the message they gave us. It's all of us that are doing it. So we're going to decide that we're going to do that now. And the way that we do it is by loving ourselves and becoming successful. And everyone can do that. And I know that because I was given the plan to help you. You're going to be great. Enjoy this presentation. Redefining Wealth, Purpose, and the New Earth. A message from Wilhelm, January 20th, 2025. You manifest your world. We mean the world you experience personally, the world you see existing now, and the future world you want for yourself and others. All the tools to bring your dreams to fruition are in your hands. You might not have known that, as our messenger did not, even though we provided the information. You cannot evolve as an individual or world without change. We gave you a way to change, and we have done so using your linear time in a way you could accept individually and collectively. Nothing in your life or world happens accidentally. It is that you have yet to understand or accept how to operate in human existence in ways that would sustain your life and world in ways you imagined to be a utopia. Now you will experience the greatest life you could have ever imagined, realize how much your life matters, and put to rest your concerns about your legacy. It will be a brilliant one, for that was why you were born. We wanted you to remember. Wilhelm. The January 20th messages, over time I had these analyzed with AI to figure out there were messages and themes that came through. But you will find these. I will leave all the messages so you can read the full thing. The Seeds of Change. Now that was in 2008 on this date because it was the beginning. And I could not have known that, but they were giving, there's information about how we evolve with using our thoughts, so you can kind of go through that. Now, I've been doing this for a long time. I started with the messages in 1989, and I was never going to tell anyone because I didn't know what was happening. But over all the years and what I moved through in 2018, and you can read that message for that year and see what we were all might have been experiencing. However, I knew that I had uncovered something that could be worth so much to so many. Because I'd suffer so much, I didn't want people to do that. And so now I have something that no one needs to do that because I'm figuring it out. Then it takes a while. 2025, the time to create the world we want is now. You have attended to the business of your progression. When you have attended to the business of your progression first, all wealth, success, abundance, happiness, and feeling of joy flow to you effortlessly and easily. And when I received that, I could not tell you that was true, because we move through these barriers in our lives and our own thinking. Then in 2008, this is where it began. The most important element behind anything you undertake, whether it be thought, deed, or action, is your intention. In other words, what is it that you are setting about creating? What do you desire to be the outcome of that? Now, many times we can't even say those words or believe it because we get talked out of our dreams, but they come about. That is your journey. That's your self-actualization or ascension. We all do it. But you'll go through all of these and you'll read them. When you remember that love and source are one, you find your way home. Remember who you are and actualize that kingdom of heaven in your now. That means right here in this moment that we're living. We have the ability, but it's again developing our consciousness. Nothing is set in stone, not even stone itself, and you may always make an adjustment. Meaning nothing that's in front of us is what we thought. We've learned that through science. We keep exploring and discovering more, but we will form distinctions about ourselves sometimes. Okay, you can only ever begin now. Wow, that one was amazing, because how many times have we started again to get something right or do something, but then we start to judge ourselves? Wilhelm says, no, you're doing something great and we should start now. It is not necessarily that you are comfortable with what you would consider to be success. It is that you have become comfortable with what you would term failure. And I know that one well, because see, we keep failing when we don't take the steps to own who we are. And sometimes that's hard. It was really challenging for me, so I do know that struggle. Compassion is both a process and a goal. And the reason they gave us that message, see, because it's challenging for you to be compassionate to others when you haven't accepted yourself. How could you give something to others? How could you love them when you haven't loved yourself first? And that is a part of our journey. It's incremental again. You are the most important person in your physical life experience. Why do we forget that? Again, it's the programming, what we've been taught. So it's always a matter of you finding your unique path and journey, because that's what's within you. It might help you to think of the manner in which your world evolves and then apply it to your own personal life experience. Think about that. Just have a vision of how the world gets more. You go back and look at old photos of history and you'll see, oh, it looks quite different now. Well, you do the same thing, but sometimes we're not recognizing that it takes that time, and that's how we all change. Value and integrity are intrinsically interwoven into your physical life experience. We will each figure out how we're going to move with that, because we do know. We know when we're operating in integrity. We know how that feels to us. And so it becomes us deciding to own that higher version of ourselves, and we can't expect anyone else to do it for us. There's nothing occurring right now that on some level you did not desire. One of the most difficult messages to receive is that one. Because see, you'll think things are going wrong, especially when you're in a really challenging place. I am telling you, it is not that. I've been through them. I do know them. They bring you something. And so that's why you desired it, because you wanted to become strong. You wanted to become empowered. And that's what happens through those experiences. You are in a perfect place right now, even when it doesn't necessarily feel that way to you. And that was 2018. That's when I wrote that check, because I was struggling to tell everyone, I know this. I want people to understand, but it's coming about, and the same thing will happen for you. You could struggle to understand or create something or do, but if it's within you, if it's part of your plan, you will finish it. You have long allowed yourself, and thereby your life, to be controlled by artificial guilt. Now, that guilt is something that is just embedded within us. And they say it's artificial because most times it doesn't even belong to us. And so that's what we've got to figure out. Now, the things that we do feel, that real guilt, meaning we've done something, we can always correct that. But that stuff that just holding on that you can't figure out, that's what we get through and move through. The reason you shouldn't take anything personally is because you don't know. When someone gives you a criticism or says something about you, don't take that personally. You can listen. There's a message that Wilhelm said that all criticism is good. And you'll see that one eventually, because what will happen is you'll hear the criticism and decide if it means anything. If it means something, you can accept it and use it. If it doesn't, you walk away from it, and now you become more empowered because you understand who you are. Your hearing was always perfect. This is all of us. I know this one so much because I would pretend I couldn't hear what was coming through. I would pretend I didn't know what to do next, and then we deny that we heard it. But then you start to recognize that's not helping. Yeah, everyone does that. Please stop denying your gift, and I've done that. I would never tell anyone I could channel. I would never tell anyone I could write stuff. And I go back now and I find that it's still surprising to me. I don't know where it came from. I want you to understand you have different levels of your consciousness that you can reach. And sometimes it'll surprise you and it may stop you. But if you stay with something, you get through it. Trust me. Evolution occurs in consciousness. And that was coming through because you're going to examine your life and the world around it. You're going to say, why isn't everyone operating in the same way I am? Why don't they think the way that I do? Because everybody's not at the same level of consciousness. And you have the responsibility to up-level yours, because that's the only way that you're going to live the great life you want to have. And then self-love and success are still the same. Now see, that came through last year because we keep getting there. We're trying to move to that place, and then we know that we have that success. Now, this is not just about money. You know this, because we've seen so much of it where people have all this money and they're still not happy. Fulfillment is what you're looking for, and that's the self-love. And if all the money comes, you'll have it, because that would be a part of your plan, your divine plan. Everything is going well. This was the message they gave us last year, last year on the next day. Everything is going well. You wanted to evolve and expand and aid in the planetary ascension. Still, the only thing you didn't understand or accept entirely was the importance of your life experiences and how they might add to not only your evolution, but that of all that is. The message we provided 4 years ago is what we would like you to absorb today, which will align nicely with our live conversation on your full moon, which will offer another grand opportunity for your ascension. Every experience of your life is for good. We are using subjective words in this message for your human understanding. Nothing is inherently good or bad, but you do feel that way about any experience. The feeling you choose to adopt about an experience you are having will manifest the results of your thoughts. We love that sentence a lot, and you would do well to study it again. Well done. So this is just a little, if you want to see, I took AI, and because I just didn't understand how all these messages were coming together. So if you want to read that, you'll see it's kind of energetic. They put in what astrological aspects, and then what happened the other night is that they gave me whole courses of messages I've received from Wilhelm that can be individual little courses. I had no idea I was connecting them that way, but that's what happened, and you'll see all of it. And and then now what I'm doing, it's finishing it, because I haven't. We don't get to a place where we have created all the stuff we want, because sometimes we don't believe it. And that was me. I'm just being completely honest, because I want you to be completely honest as well with what you can create and do, because it is within you. Oh, let me start to share. So I'd love for you to check it all out. You'll have the channeling session. You'll have the information, all the messages. Love yourself. When you move through these today, or however long it takes you, you will find yourself appreciating who you are so much more. That was my intention. See you soon. And we are ready to begin, and as we always say, we have waited for you your entire lives. But today, you will understand what that means, because today is the day you were meant to accept that. We're saying that because this is an energetic change that is happening in your life and in your world. And as we have said, we have given you everything you needed to know to manifest this wonderful life and world. The only difficulty is believing it. None of you believe that, especially our messenger. So what we decided to do is to prove it to you all, because we have given you everything. It happens in your consciousness. And as you view the messages that we will have him leave with you, that we have given you every January 20th, since 2008, because that was again another chunk of transformational time in your world, and we've been guiding you the entire time. Now, you will have difficulty putting together how we could have given you things at different years, because that is the space-time trajectory that you're in, and you don't completely understand it because you must operate with linear time, which is why we have given you everything in that manner. Now, our messenger did not know that was occurring, and so we're doing this today because we have to also bring him out of his prison, because that's what you each have had when you can't own yourself. And as we have said, and we said it last year on this date, but you'll hear it much more today because it's much more powerful for you, we said self-love and success is still the same. You each are born into the world with a gift, and it just gets developed in different ways and at different times. And when you do that, you start to experience the joy of your life, and you start to contribute to your world, and you create something far different than what you have seen in your past and what you are experiencing in your world on this day. Because we know the energies will be changing, and we wanted you to embody the energy of love of yourself. You are the most important person in the world. This is all that we've ever wanted you to understand. Our messenger has used his entire life to demonstrate this to you. But you keep going around and you'll do all these other ideas and programs and things, and you're not getting the results, and you're wondering what's occurring. Well, what is occurring? You're not connecting to who you are. What we have given our messenger, which took his entire life, now being at 74, we gave him a plan. And we had him live it, because he moved through everything that you struggle with. And he got the results. The last result that we wanted him to have is having the abundance from it, because that's the part that you're missing. When you own yourself, you know how you can manifest what you want in this world. But we had to prove it to all of you. We had to prove it to him, but he's grateful for that now, because none of you need to suffer. You can move forward now. We know that you're looking at your world and the conditions and the events that are happening today, and you're thinking something has gone wrong. No, it hasn't. No, the world is waiting for you to start to embody who you're meant to be in this world. The world is waiting for you to own your essence and bring it into the world. This is why we've given you everything, and we said it was a guide. And we wanted you to understand that, which is why we've laid it out in these sequential ways, because that's how you evolve. That's how you evolve individually and collectively. We just added a new element, because we said you're not looking at everything and you're wondering, why are you having so many conflicts? Why are you still having wars? Why are you still having all the difficulties in your life? It's because you haven't let go of your judgment. You haven't let go of your grievances. You haven't let go of all the old things that came before this day. And so we would like for you to take the next step, which is what we're having our messenger do. He struggled so much because none of you understood what he was doing, even his family and friends. And he's lost many because of that, because they didn't get it. They will get it today. There's no way that you can read the messages that we have given him all of these years and have it not come to a logical conclusion that you are meant to survive and be strong and become abundant. That's each of you. But we're speaking to you. See, because we know that what this will do for your world, we've seen it, because we've known that. We come from a different place, you see, so we know what is capable. But it is you who has thought that you couldn't do it. You who thought you couldn't be successful. You who thought you couldn't love yourself. You were wrong. We've given you everything to be able to do that. And then the wonderful result of that is you heal. And just imagine if more of you heal, wouldn't that happen in your world? That was the logic that we wanted you all to come through to, and then we showed you, we've given you an example. And we're going to have him document more of it. Because he's healed everything. You never have to suffer. You don't have to struggle. It's about understanding your consciousness. And as we said, consciousness changes and evolution happens in consciousness, nowhere else. It's not about how much money or any of that you have. It's about your consciousness. But you're looking at your world today, and many of you have not followed the advice that we have given you. We said you live in a time where the wealth and income disparity has become so great that you were here to correct it. That means that you had to own more of yourself. You had to love more of yourself and allow the energy of abundance to come to you. But many of you did not do that. And this is why we said we were structuring it around the United States, because that was an energetic change portal that they're moving through, but it's changing now. Different than what you're seeing. The energies of your world have shifted, and when you heard about that age of Aquarius, we would love for you to study what that means again, because it's about coming together. It's not about separation. It's not about division within you or with others. It's about coming together. But many of you will make different choices, and then you will wonder why your lives aren't working and why the collective consciousness of your world never changes, because you don't believe what you can do. We told you that utopia was attainable. And then when we say that, you each will look at your lives and say, no, I can't do this, so everyone else can't, and now you understand why you're all stuck. Well, we decided you didn't have to be. So we sent you someone who used his entire life to bring you a new philosophy called your life operating instructions. Let go of those old ways. Start seeing yourself as a soul rather than this body who has inhabited in a particular race or gender. None of those matter, but you keep using them as divisions against yourself. That's all. So we gave you something else. And you've used your religions in that way as well. So we thought, what if you could just transcend that? What if you could move over that and just recognize that when you were born, there was something within you that was given to you, that was meant to be on this earth to flourish, and if you were to do that, you would contribute to the creation of your new world, which is what you're all doing now. You just decide how you're going to do that, and we would love for you to become successful, you see, and you do that when you decide to love yourself, and that is the path that we have given you all, and that is the path that we have given your world. We do hope that you accept it. We love you so much.